I'm in a bathroom today, apparently. Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a kind of like FAQ, Q&A information video about my nose piercing. No, I wasn't originally going to do this video, but there was so much wrong and bad information floating around the internet. I decided to make this video. A little disclaimer here, I am by no means a professional. I am a hobbyist, strictly a hobbyist, and so what I say is not the be-all and end-all. This information should not override the information provided to you by your practitioner or doctor. So that's my little disclaimer. So I guess the biggest thing, the first thing that everybody asks with any piercing is, does it hurt? Now this is kind of a bad question. It varies on person to person. I usually have a really good pain tolerance, but for some reason this piercing was like a 4 out of 10 on my pain scale. I don't know why, but a lot of people will say like it was a 10 out of 10 or a 0 out of 10. And none of what people tell you about how much a piercing hurts should really get to you. It very much depends on where you're getting pierced and your pain tolerance. So if you have a low pain tolerance, it might hurt more. If you have a high pain tolerance, it'll probably hurt less. But regardless, the pain is over in a second. By the time your body registers that it hurt, the pain is over, you don't have to deal with it anymore. So all in all, pain is pretty worth it. It lasts about a second, and it kind of feels like a dull ache for about a couple hours afterwards. And that's really about it. Okay, so the next question I get asked is, why did you get it done? Some people get it done because they like the look of it. Some people get it done because they think that it aids with childbirth or menstruation cramps or headaches, migraines, whatever. I haven't personally seen any research to back that up, but I could be wrong about that. I personally got it just because I like the way it looks, I like the piercing, so I went for it. Okay, so another big one is, how much did it cost? Mine was $40, including the jewellery, and I did not get an aftercare spray or solution with it. They do have an optional aftercare spray, but I don't like to use that part. So what I use for cleaning, I use a couple different things. So for cleaning, I use this all-natural rock salt. You really want to make sure it is non-iodized. That is the biggest thing. As long as it's non-iodized sea salt, it'll be fine. So I just put a bit of that into a shot glass. This isn't a shot glass, this is a measuring cup, but potato, any small cup you can use, and I just put some into there with some really hot water, well, not so hot that I can't stand it, but warm, and then I just lean over and dunk my nose in it, and I leave it for about 5 minutes, and I do that once in the morning and once in the afternoon. But throughout the day it can get a little crusty, so what I do is I bought some of this Gel Flex normal saline solution. I highly doubt that focused. I just get some saline solution, and you can buy this in this big giant bottle here, or you can get it in these tiny little containers. This saline solution bottle was $4 from, I think, Priceline, so not a huge financial investment. These you can pick up for anywhere between 20 cents to 50 cents each. Usually they come on a long strip, but this is the only one I have left. So I I personally really like these as opposed to the big bottle. If you get the big bottle, before buying it, you really want to look at the back of it. It should say use within a certain time period. Some of them you have to use within 24 hours, some you have to use within 48. That particular bottle you have to use within 30 days. So it was good for the first month. But these, you know, these can probably last about a day or two. And so really you should just buy a bunch of these and then use them. These have a sterile rating of A, so they are definitely sterile. So you don't really have to worry about infecting your piercing that way. So another big thing is jewellery. Now most piercers will put in either a corkscrew stud or an L-shaped stud. These really are the two best things that you can put in your nose. Well, no, I tell a lie. Some piercers, it's pretty rare, but it's getting a little bit more common. Some piercers will put in a labret, or labre, however you want to pronounce it, stud, which is just a flat-backed stud. Now, a lot of piercers don't use these for the simple reason that they are pretty hard to find in a small gauge, like 18 or 20 gauge. So it really depends on what you can find. So that's the best thing you can put in while it's healing, but a lot of the time piercers won't have that. I got pierced with an L-shaped stud. I like these because they're not super hard to take out, but they don't fall out super easily. I got pierced by Kevin, the wonderful cool tattoo. I will have a link to their Facebook page down in the description bar. So as for the process, it was super simple. I walked in, I signed some waivers saying I'm the right age, I gave them my ID, yada yada yada. They made sure I'd eaten within the past 4 hours. And then I just walked over to the chair, he sat me down, he showed me the different jewellery he had available. I picked one, and then he asked if I would like to put a hoop in after it had healed. So he asked if, when it's healed, do I want to put a hoop in it? I said yes, so he dotted it. He made the marking closer to the outside of my nose, so I can get a smaller hoop eventually. He then let me look at the mirror to see if I liked the position. I didn't, so I got marked up a few more times. He was super helpful about that. So after I got a marking that I liked, he just did the thing. He got a cannula, whatever, needle, and he used a receiving tube. As far as I know, there are 3 different methods of using clamps or some kind of holder. You can use Pennington forceps, which are just little forceps that have a little hole at the end of them. You can use a receiving tube, which is either metal or PVC kind of tube that goes into your nose, or you can use a cork. Now, personally, I like the receiving tube best because you can get in a good angle as opposed to pulling the nose up with forceps. And the cork, I'm not sure if corks can be autoclaved. Don't think they can. So, he lined the receiving tube up and then he just stuck the needle in. Super easy, super quick. And then he changed out the jewellery. I didn't bleed. I did get teary-eyed in the eye on the side I was getting pierced. Some people don't tear up, some people tear up on both eyes, but most commonly, I believe, is to just tear up on the side you're getting pierced. This is a completely natural reaction. Don't be worried about it. I didn't bleed, I didn't feel lightheaded, so he let me leave. For about, I want to say, 5 or so days afterwards, it kind of ached to flare my nostrils. But a lot of people can't flare their nostrils, so that's probably not too big a deal. It healed pretty easy using the the methods I have aforementioned. The healing takes between 8 to 12 weeks to get initial healing done, but there's still what I call deep healing, where after 8 to 12 weeks it'll probably look pretty healed, but it won't be completely healed on the inside. Generally, any type of cartilage piercing will take between 6 and 12 months on most people to fully heal. So another huge question is about the dreaded bump, largely referred to as cartilage bumps or keloids. Now, these are actually what's called hypertrophic scarring. It's a buildup of collagen and other bodily things in this little hard lump that grows primarily near cartilage trauma. So if you're moving your piercing around a lot, if you're taking it out, if you're removing jewelry, if you get hit in the nose even, you may start to see a bump develop. Once again, not medically harmful, you should be fine, and it will go away. It's not a huge deal. You can take out the piercing if you want, but there really is no need to. I'll post some links down below for different treatments. My personal favourite is tea tree oil, but this does not work for everybody. Some people are actually pretty sensitive to tea tree oil, and it might irritate you further. So definitely check out the links down below if you are dealing with any kind of hypertrophic scar. So I think that's about all I have to say on this for now. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped you in some manner, and I'll see you next time.